Do you feel chronically exhausted at work and thinking of taking a career break? You might be stopping yourself from taking one due to one of these three myths. I'll be debunking them today. Welcome to the Thrivantgarde podcast. I'm Veena. I believe that you can have a career break without breaking the bank or killing your career. I'm here to support you in designing your ideal career break for your sustained career health. The first myth is that a career break is going to wreak havoc on your finances. I can see why it's logical to think that way, because if you don't have a job, then you're not earning an income. I definitely did my first career break the quote-unquote wrong way. In 2007, I quit my job to travel around. I had a great time traveling, but I also feel so much anxiety because I'm not replacing the money that I spent. So I convinced myself to go back to work even though I wasn't quite ready. However, if done right, a career break offers a pause where you can have the headspace and time to understand how money works. It takes time to learn how to track your expenses, your savings, and learn about financial instruments. There are so many financial instruments out there, and it really takes time for us to learn which ones suit our temperament. When we're working in a job, we have this complacency that money from our steady paycheck will come in next month, so there really isn't any strong incentive to learn personal finance habits. Humans follow this innate motivational triad. We seek pleasure, avoid pain, and we seek to conserve energy. Sometimes learning a new complex topics like personal finance can be quite painful because it's not something that we are immediately good at. And when you're in a demanding job, sometimes you just don't have the energy left over at the end of the day to pick up a new topic like personal finance. So the pause that a career break offers can give the opportunity for us to develop a better relationship with our money, and that sets us up well in the long term for much better economic well-being. Also, you can still earn if you're on a career break. It's not like there's some career break police telling you that you can't do that. A career break is a fantastic time to explore all these new opportunities. Learning from the mistakes of my first career break, I took on some gig work during my second career break to finance my travels. I set up a sole proprietorship to keep track of my earnings. That was the foundation for me to learn basic finance skills. I learned to watch out for how much money I'm spending versus how much I'm taking in. Now, of course, these are basic finance skills that you can learn even if you're on a job. But the truth was, when I was working, I was never really incentivized to pick these skills up because what was the urgency? I will get my monthly paycheck arriving again next month. There are very little consequences of not managing my personal finances, especially when we have a steady paycheck. But when I was running a business, I really had to dig deep into my numbers. How much am I spending? How much am I making? How much cash was I retaining? Sometime during my second career break, I stumbled upon the Financial Independence Retire Early movement, or FIRE. Being on a career break offers me the headspace and time to really understand concepts related to this movement. Now, that was already hard in itself, but what was also equally hard is the fact that I went through a lot of emotions, looking at my numbers, looking at my habits, looking at my relationship to money. There was a lot of guilt, shame, self-blame. I spent part of my second career break really trying to understand the FIRE concepts. It really allowed me to clearly define my financial goals. It allowed me to focus on a number to hit so that I know I can accumulate this much to finance my perpetual career break through investments that can sustain my lifestyle. Thanks to Mr. Market's good mood these days, my net worth is higher today than when I first left work. I know, right? It's wild. And I hope that is reassuring to you too, because taking a career break really doesn't have to wreck your finances. In fact, it can actually improve it in the long term. I managed to get what I dreamed of, which is living a slow life even in a fast-paced country. The second myth is that a career break is going to ruin your career. I get it, and I do think that employers are more enlightened now. But we cannot deny that there is this mindset where it's easier for you to get your next job while you're still employed. So if you are unemployed on a career break, it might seem that you are like a pariah in the job market. I would really like to invite you to think of a career break as helping you go into a portal of possibility instead of the doorway to destruction. A career break can offer you a pause where you can embark on a journey of self-discovery and learn about your strengths, your weaknesses, your interests, and your passions. This greater self-awareness can really help you to filter what jobs are most suitable for you when you do re-enter the job market. For example, when I was on a career break, I did lots of activities like nature guiding, drawing, oil painting, storytelling, improvisational theater. And these activities really allow me to discover some of my talents or develop new ones. If I was still working, I don't think I would have had the time or be able to give myself permission to try out all these different offbeat things. Instead of being something to fear, a career break really offers you a chance to realign yourself with the demands of the job market. Many of us have heard stories of people who stay in their jobs quote-unquote too long. It feels really safe to be in this long-term job, doing similar things that you've always had and accumulating experience in that particular role, in that particular job, in that particular industry. It definitely feels a lot safer than taking a career break, right? But the market demand changes. Unfortunately, some of these employees were involuntarily let go. Some are fortunate. They have immediately transferable skills that they can use to get the next job quickly. And others may not be so fortunate. They may have had developed deep expertise, job-specific skills that has helped them in that role. But it might be too narrow and not immediately transferable to the next job which they want when they re-enter the job market. A career break is actually a fantastic opportunity where you can do a strategic realignment of your interests, your talents, and passions with the demands and attributes required in the job market. My first job was as an economics teacher, which is a little bit more content heavy, and I ended my career as a lecturer facilitating life skills. I wouldn't have been able to make that shift if not for some of the skills that I picked up during a career break, such as what I picked up when I was doing improvisational theater. The skills needed to engage students in a content-heavy lesson, such as economics, are quite different from the skills needed to facilitate students in a, say, workplace readiness lesson. If I had just remained an economics teacher, I don't think there would be any incentive for me to take those offbeat experimental workshops such as improvisational theater because it doesn't have direct relevance in my lessons. Of course, we can always pivot while we're still in a job. It's just that a career break really offers you the spaciousness of time and headspace in order to go all in into your new experimental endeavors. When I was teaching A-level economics, there is a right or wrong answer. For example, one of the sections in the exam is the MCQ, which is multiple choice question. There is a right or wrong answer. But I ended my career in a tertiary institution where there really isn't a wrong answer, but it is about drawing different people's perspectives. And I picked up that skill set again during my career break when I got involved with a lot of diversity dialogue. So I got quite familiar with being able to just draw different people's perspectives. It's my heart's desire that we can normalize taking career breaks as a healthy part of our career journey, and it doesn't have to ruin your career. In fact, actually, it can progress it further. The third myth is that you are alone on this career break journey. One reason why it might feel lonely is because when you're in a job, it comes with a built-in social network. So you get to interact with your colleagues on the job, and without that, it might feel a little isolating. More importantly, there might be family, friends, or former co-workers who just don't understand why you're leaving your current job without getting a new one. And it can feel really lonely when people don't support you or don't understand your decision. You don't feel seen or validated. So although in a previous episode I talked about why I restarted this podcast, actually this podcast is my auditory love letter from me to you. If there's anything that I want to impart through this podcast series, is that you are not alone. In this journey of taking a career break, there is no need for shame. You don't need to constantly question if you're enough. You are worthy just as you are, even if you don't have a job. Because in our society, a job is tied so closely to our identity. A career break is a confusing, challenging time, but it can also be a beautiful, transformative journey. I'll be honored to be in your corner as you're going through this. In the past, when I teach, it's always with the name of an institution behind me. It's just me this time, sharing with you heart to heart. If you're thinking of going on a career break, I really invite you to look at the Confident Career Breaker Guide, which I created for you. Think of it as a care package that you can use to accompany you as you're going through this career break or thinking of going on one. It offers you clarity. There's one exercise where you can do to determine whether taking a career break is the right step for you. It gives you confidence. There are steps that you can take in order to know whether you're financially prepared. Having been on 3 career breaks, I know how negative thoughts can mess up our thinking. So I offer to you some affirmations that will give you courage to stand in your decision. You can find the download link in the show notes. Today's episode is a reminder for you not to let any of these 3 myths stop you from taking a career break, if that's what your heart desires. And how do you know if a career break is right for you? I'm covering that in next week's episode, so stay tuned. Hey, thanks for staying till the end. If you know of someone who's also contemplating a career break, do share this podcast with them. Subscribe, leave a rating or a review so that more people can find this podcast to help them to design a career break that they would love. Always rooting for you.